Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second weekly Communities of Practice Sunday check-in session of 2021. My name's Priscilla Wong, and I'm a volunteer with the Communities of Practice team. I hope everyone has had a good week, and I welcome you to a half hour of Dharma, reflection, and community connection. It is customary for us in Australia to begin any meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land. I would like to start today by acknowledging the Dharma people as the traditional owners of the land on which Nantian Institute resides. I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all are, and I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. The check-in sessions have been developed by our Communities of Practice team and community. In 2018-19, we ran a number of community days and then began these weekly check-in sessions, building this community from October 2020. The purpose of these events was outlined above, guided by humanistic Buddhism to develop and cultivate our practice and friendships. Now more than ever, the practice has become vital, and the purpose of today is exactly that. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Jonathan Page, who is a lecturer at Nantian Institute, a medical oncologist, and a valued member of the community. Thank you, Jonathan.
I hope you've been able to enjoy some self-compassion during the past week. If so, you will have little difficulty with this week's theme, which is anger. Now, we all know what anger feels like, either arising within ourselves or as the target of someone else's wrath. We know that feeling of heat swirling through our body, the racing pulse, the tight face, the distorted lips, and a certain tone in our voice, and of course the crazy mind. Anger plays an important role in our experience of dukkha, and sometimes a starring role. Now, you might also like to consider, what exactly is anger? What causes it? Where does it come from? Do I suffer with anger very often? How do I manage my anger? And who does my anger hurt? And of course, the answer there is both myself and the other person. Now, remember the words of the Buddha in the Lekha Sutra, where he says there are three types of people found in this world. First, there is a person who is often angry, and their anger lingers for a long time. It's like a line carved in stone, which is not quickly worn away by the wind and water. Secondly, there is a person who is often angry, but their anger doesn't linger long. It's like a line drawn in sand, which is quickly worn away by the wind and water and doesn't last too long. Now, finally, there is a person who, although spoken to by someone else in a rough, harsh, and disagreeable manner, still remains at peace, remains friendly, and greets the other with love. It's like a line drawn in water, which vanishes right away and doesn't last long. So let us enjoy a short period of reflection and meditation now, where we can consider anger, but in a spirit of self-compassion. So gently shut your eyes and let them soften. Begin to relax. Relax your forehead, your cheeks. Relax your lips. And relax all the facial muscles. Relax your neck muscles and your shoulders. You might like to let your shoulders just drop and relax. Relax your upper arms and lower arms. Relax the hands. And relax each finger. And relax especially the thumb. which is often forgotten. And relax your back muscles. And let a wave of softness move down from the back of your neck, down the backbone, all the way to your bottom. Now relax your thighs and the calf muscles. Relax your feet and toes. You may like to wiggle the toes. So feel the whole body completely relax. Now take your attention to the tip of your nose and to the nostrils. And watch the spontaneous rhythm of your wonderful breath. Notice the air moving in through your nostrils, often through one nostril more than the other. And sometimes the air can feel cool and sharp as it moves in, filling the lungs. And when the lungs are full, there's usually a short pause, and then the air, all by itself, begins to escape through the nostrils. And the air is now warm and soft. And soon the lungs are empty, and then there is another brief pause, and then the next breath arises all by itself. So just watch that rhythm of your own breath moving in through the nostrils, filling the lungs, leaving through the nostrils. So follow that rhythm for 1 minute. So when you're ready, just return to the moment. Slowly open your eyes. You may wish to talk about any thoughts, feelings, or words of anger that you have encountered recently or in the past. And you might like to also consider, as Rumi, the Sufi poet, said so long ago, before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? So thus we apply the principles of humanistic Buddhism in our thinking and speaking. Thank you. Oh yes, well, I see this wisdom from Amy. Compassion, patience and mindfulness are the keys to counterbalance anger. They certainly are. We have to be mindful that anger is approaching and interrupt it before it blossoms. Yes, and that's the arising of anger. We can see that and feel it within our bodies and be ready to deal with it. Danger and anger. Danger and anger. Yes, I agree, there is. Because it distorts the way we think and we can do things that are very unwise, very unskillful, for a moment of lack of mindfulness, and then suddenly danger arises and we become angry. That's correct. Well, yes, anger is a very personal thing, from grasping the eye and what the eye is craving. And if it doesn't get what it's craving, well, then anger can arise. And it's important, yes, if people do feel bad about themselves, that can be a cause for anger that has to be addressed. Particularly if it's deeply seated in the body, like shame, it can lead to a lot of anger. And of course, it can be destructive. So it can be constructive sometimes, but generally not so. And it can take a long time to repair the damage. And yes, sometimes it takes much of a lifetime to deal with anger. And often it arises in our early years, and we have to somehow become aware of that and confront it. And of course, the Buddha provides many strategies in many of his teachings and suttas to deal with anger and other aversive emotions that we'll be approaching in the weeks to come. Yes, and well, Stephen says sometimes it can seem legitimate, but there's usually a better way, or the energy of anger can be channeled into something far more wise and skillful. So constructive anger, which may mean sensitivity to issues of the day, and anger arises and may seem to be appropriate, that the energy should be channeled elsewhere before someone is hurt. And that wonderful pause of wisdom, when you can feel the anger arising, the pause arises, and you have enough time to decide, am I going to welcome the anger and become angry, or am I going to do something wise and helpful and compassionate? And be kind, yes, be kind to oneself, and then let the anger go. Exactly. Oh, the wonderful Judge Ginsburg, yes. How to channel anger. There's some people that seem to have every right to become angry, but often are not angry, because they understand their own inner world and the causes of anger, and they're able to avoid those causes.
Let us now dedicate the goodness of what you have done to all living beings. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Chan, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our gratitude and humility give rise to great value.
Thank you, Jonathan. We hope the check-in session was helpful to you all in the community, and that you experienced the loving kindness of the community as it is offered here today. For anyone who might be experiencing a greater need than what today could meet, or if you'd just like to get in touch with us, please email us at the above address anytime. We have a few community events coming up. The poetry event, the poems are actually up and running. So if you'd like to check out the website at poetry.thebbep.org, there's a number of great poems from some of our community members here and from all around the world. So do have a look. Just got up now. And join us at the workshop on the 31st of January from 4 p.m. So next week, Jonathan will be speaking again on the 24th at 11 a.m. And the topic, I believe, will be on jealousy. The next 30 minutes or so, I think Jonathan's free to stay around and have a chat. So as is tradition, we'll ask everyone to unmute, and I'll stop my screen sharing. And if you're free to chat, come and say hello.